Hey there, and welcome back to Elden Ring. We're continuing on with our lore playthrough, going through the game like it's kind of like our first time and whatnot, right? Just sort of enjoying the world around us and reading things, taking our time with descriptions, etc., right? Seeing where the story takes us like we're experiencing it like for the first time. Now, our focus for this one today is to go get that black knife print for Rogier since he's been waiting so patiently. But we are first going to hit up this tower thing right here, and then we will drop down and check it out. So here we get to see one of those trolls in the flesh. We saw like a ghost spirity version, one of them, down at one of the like roads where it was doing a bunch of battle with Lucarian soldiers. And I mean, look at him. He's got the Carrion knight helmet with like a cape type of thing. He doesn't really have a full set of armor or anything, but I mean, I guess for a big giant guy, that'd probably be difficult to do. Can you imagine, though? A fully armored, like, troll? That'd be friggin' brutal. But then he's got this pretty cool, like, greatsword type of thing. You see the other trolls, too, like we see in Limgrave and stuff, with these large, massive swords as well. But they have a different one. They look more like just kind of, I would almost say simple, but they're like golden. This one has that blue, right? Which makes sense because it's tied in with a carrion, with sorcery. There's sets of red, which again, I think matches with what's going on with a lot of their armor. And something else I would like to note, without being able to see like right behind his, onto his like cape deal, it makes me think of the Dragonkin soldiers. And I mean, that might just be because it's a cape, right? But at the same time, there's part of me that kind of wonders if there isn't a similarity going on there, or, some kind of connection. And these guys cast spells, which, on the whole, this is really, like, shows us that the trolls aren't just, like, beasts of burden, right? They have intelligence. They are, smart, thinking creatures. It's just, for the most part, they seem to get, like, relegated to these, like, roles where they don't do anything really outside of just be that beast. But of course, he's no match for us. Blood Flame Blade with a blood weapon is just, it's really strong. Regardless of whatever weapon you're going to use, like, our big focus is a Great Shield. But then with, all the strengths that we have, we've got a heavy Morning Star on. With that innate bleed and then a blood flame on top of it. It's so much more than we need, A converted Fringe tower. Interesting. So, right, we had the one down here, which is a converted tower. So this is the same thing, but it's a Fringe one. And does it say the same thing? The Air Edition light the way. And we can see there is a barrier here. It has a Carrion seal on it, right? Because a Cuckoo one has kind of like a star deal and stuff, like the Lucarian seal. But this one has, well, this one might not be the Carrion seal. But I'm pretty sure the Carrion one is like a sword and staff crossed. Ah, look at that. Bing. Blue. The seal on the rise opens. Now, this tower is a little different than some of the others we found, right? All the other ones are a simple, just like singular tower that goes up. This one, however, has that like entrance that goes into the side room, where we've got, I guess more study library type things, and then stairs that rise up to another level. But in order to reach that is normally an elevator. But here we've got, what is it? The Graven School, like a seed bed for stars. Now this is doing a different spell. The other ones had been doing these big like mortar, like star type of things, That is some kind of mist. It's going to hurt us if we were actually like touching it. Now, why is that one in there? Perhaps somebody here was studying something that, is like heretical, because generally those who cleave to the primeval current are not looked well upon, at least for the Rea Lucaria. And then here is Cannon of Haima, Gavel of Haima. Now, these spells we've seen before. So down in one of the crystal caves, there was a big guy with a stone club, and he did some different spells. He launched a big mortar thing, and he could also do a hammer spell as well. And those were these spells right here. So Cannon of Haima, one of the glintstone sorceries of the Academy, lobs an explosive magic projectile that flies in an arc. It's drawn from the Conspectus of Haima. We haven't heard of that one before. The Adjudicator of the Academy. And the sorcery employs might as a means to quell conflict. This one is also drawn from the scholarly conspectus of Hyma, adjudicator of the academy, and employs might as a means to quell conflict. Yeah. So they are slightly different, right? This one just says drawn from the conspectus of Hyma, where this one is drawn from the scholarly conspectus of Hyma. Why is it kind of differentiated like that? I'm not really sure, but okay. So the adjudicators, and we've only seen one of them so far. And I should mention, like, none of them were in the academy. Like, we didn't see a single sorcerer in the academy that followed the conspectus. The only one we've seen so far was in a cave down below the academy. All right. So now we can drop down. There's all these handy dandy little tomb drop stone things, whatever they're called. And so we will use those to drop down, where we're going to go find a nice friend. This looks really far, actually. Huh. Can you make this jump? I really don't care to die, but also, if that's what it is, it's what it is. Okay. And who's right there? It's a headless knight, a mausoleum soldier, only this is an actual knight. All the other ones have been soldiers. Now look at that blade, how it's like wreathed in this like kind of flame, but it's like a yellowy, blackish flame. It inflicts death blight. It looks the same as like what the coloration is the same as like what the death birds do when they howl, as well as kind of the sort of like the smoke that the basilisks do. But the basilisks have more of like an actual just black smoke with glints of gold, where this has that like flame appearance to it. Now on the shield is an eclipse, which is interesting. We haven't seen that. On these soldiers, it's just, you know, a kind of tower-looking thing, kind of castle with a bell. And then this one's also got these, like, winged portions on the back. Their armor is actually really awesome, and I'm probably going to take some time to farm it up because I do really like it. Black Knife Catacombs and the Beast Eye Quivers, of course, because if we're finding this Black Knife print, it makes sense that we would probably find a Death Root as well. Alright, so I got most of their stuff. We got the Eclipse Crest Great Shield, a metal great shield painted with a sun in eclipse, carried by the Headless Mausoleum Knights. The eclipsed sun, drained of color, is a protective star of soulless demigods. It aids the Mausoleum Knights by keeping destined death at bay. So there's some interesting things with that, right? Because the sun is not really something that like comes up a whole lot, right? There's stars, there's the moon, the tree, the sun. The sun is not like a thing. And maybe they just like don't really hold any special regard for it because they're like, oh, it is just another star. But like here, the eclipse sun, like here it's important. Drained of color, protective star of soulless demigods. It said the Mausoleum Knights, it aids the Mausoleum Knights by keeping destined death at bay. But see, I don't think we've heard of destined death before, right? We have like death blight, capital death and stuff, but not that, right? And so maybe the destined death would be like, I mean, it sounds like the eventual deaths of things, right? Like it's a guaranteed, like this should happen. And you got these Mausoleum Knights who have decapitated themselves to serve their soulless demigod, and in theory, they should ultimately die eventually no matter what, because that's what destined death seems to imply. But with this protective, like, sigil, it keeps it kind of at bay, maybe? Now, I did also get, they don't have helmets, but I did get the armor. Armor worn by headless knights who endlessly guard the wandering mausoleum. Now, around here in the lake, I've seen one wandering around in the lake bed, and I've heard a couple other ones. So, like, there's quite a few right around here, and to me, that kind of makes sense because the architecture of the Wandering Mausoleums very much makes me think of those, like, what I'm assuming are the Eternal City sections down beneath the, like, lands, right, and the underground. And there seems to be a lot of tie-ins between Ray Lucaria or Liurnia, Carrion, like, this region and the Eternal Cities, if that is what they are, right? And so it would make sense that you would have a Wandering Mausoleum hanging around here, right? Now, the wing-shaped ornament on a back... dude, I cannot talk. It's definitely not what I'm drinking. The wing-shaped ornaments on its back evoke the Deathbird, a self-inflicted curse that ties the spirits of these loyal knights to the land, having willingly beheaded themselves so that they may serve their masters in death. So, see, there it says it. They've willingly decapitated themselves so that they can keep serving their masters as soulless demigods and protect them. And I'm assuming, like, keep them from getting, like, taken away. Like maybe they're hoping there will be some kind of like redemption for them, maybe, right? And they're obviously they have things to evoke the Deathbird, and the Deathbird was in ancient times kind of seen as a malevolent deity, ancient death rites and stuff too, which again ties in with them like guarding these dead things and stuff. Really cool armor. I really like it a lot. We're totally gonna use it. But anyways, we need to start working our way through the Black Knife Catacombs. And of course, what do we have? Skeletons. And you know what I should probably do? Like, we'll make this a little bit easier for myself. We are going to put on the Sacred Blade Ash of War, because that's just gonna, it's just gonna smooth out the whole process. And there is, of course, that ghost flame that we're seeing. Makes sense. There's stuff with, you know, it's catacombs, mausoleum section. There's skeletons, death root somewhere in here. That skeleton was different. He had some kind of smoky flame on him. See, all the, like, the rest of the times when we're fighting these skeletons, they don't have that. Now, I've made this easier for myself because I have the sacred, like, enchantment on there. But look at this dude. See how he's got that torch and he's got that, like, flame on there? If we didn't have the sacred thing, he would keep resurrecting them over and over again, regardless of, like, what we do. So, we need to get rid of him. But it seems like if we use the sacred holy energy, then they absolutely go away. Yeah, because see how they're not all like smoked up, like they're just plain skeletons. Hey, stop it. Ah, Ross's axe. This is a cool one. I actually kind of want to use it, to be honest. It's an intelligence kind of, I don't know what you call it, hybrid axe, right? I can't see it super well here, but I'm gonna zoom in during editing and I'll get a better look at it too, because I cannot completely tell what this axe head is supposed to look like. Now, Usher of Death, Rossus, who shows the path to the catacombs throughout the lands between, is depicted on this ritual axe, so it should be that guy on there. The dead easily lose their way and have always been in sore need of a guiding hand. Now, we have seen these like kind of ghostly blue candle things, candelabra, tree-looking deals. We've seen them kind of down in like Weeping Peninsula. We saw one in the forest. I did see one here in Liurnia. When you interact with some, a ghost guy goes wandering around, takes you to like a dungeon or something, right? And so I wonder, oh, but you know what? Actually, you know what I do think? He's not tied in with that. I think he might be that dude in the statue, right? You see the statue and you talk to it and it's like guide and gatekeeper of like those who are seeking to return to their roots. And it always takes us to catacombs, right? So maybe this is depicting him. And he's that kind of gnarly, hunched looking dude, right? Now the Ash of War on it raises it aloft to summon those lost in death, and skeletons will appear at distance and attack. It is pretty cool. I do think it is very cool. It's just, I don't know, I don't really have intelligence. Maybe that's what I'll do. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, there's like skeletons reaching up to, I guess, Rossus? Unless that whole thing simply is him. It's super cool. I do really like it. There's the Deathbird one. I like the Deathbird one too. I would almost consider using it if it just wasn't so actually bad. And what makes it really bad to me, as far as the sacrificial axe goes, is it's so short. It really is a hatchet. Like, there is no range on the thing. Now, we look up there, we can see some Grave Glovewort. So, again, kind of some, you know, power of observation. You can start, like, implying and, like, making connections on what you could try to do. So we can just try and, you know, my controller will cooperate. Maybe land on that. Okay, third time's the charm. There we go. Go up there. And what do we find? Another one of those commoner dudes, right? And they are trying to, you know, I guess just summon these skeletons. So maybe they're somehow, like, worshipping death in some fashion. Now we get over here, and this hallway just seems to, like, end. There is a hole there for us to go down, but this just looks weird, right? And I mean, obviously, if you're doing multiplayer, you can see notes and stuff to people to help you out. And there is an opening here. And that's not the only thing you find. There is also a summon sign for D, Hunter of Death. Because, of course, you know, there's Death Rune here, so he would help us out with that. Look how on the cloak for this thing. One, you got that tower kind of look, right? Which I really like using that with this shield because I think it just matches really well. And then on the back, it seems to be, I would say, an eclipse. And then I don't know what that whole thing down in the bottom is supposed to be. It's something crazy looking. Well, let's go ahead and walk in here. What are we going to fight? A black knife assassin. Ooh, look at that. So there was some flame thing, but it was like red. It was not just like a fire red, like orange, yellow, red. It was like actively red and black at the same time. It took a chunk off our maximum HP. See that? It just came back. And it was a flying projectile. Now this assassin is, he was quick on that, is full health and is being much faster, much more aggressive than the other one we found, which was injured and, you know, was a beginning part of the game. So they're kind of nerfing it a little bit to give you a little kind of preview of what you could fight later while not like completely taking the experience away from you. And you can kind of see, it's really hard to see any kind of face in there, but look at that cloak, how it's kind of like shimmery and see-through. Oh, there was his freaking order spell. Chop. There it goes. What do we get? Assassin's Cerulean Dagger and the black knife print. Oh, look how it kind of looks. You know what it looks like there? A little bit like some of the like Starlight Shard kind of things where it's kind of like shimmery looking and stuff. Oh, and here's another one of... Oh, who is that? I don't know that I have seen a statue like that. Because this one looks familiar. It reminds me of some of the statues like we see down in Stormvale, where it's like kind of like the woman holding a vase or goblet, chalice, something pouring out. It looks a lot like that, but not quite the same. But I think it is a woman, just kind of based off the chest. So we're already using the crimson one. The blue one is exactly the same. It's cerulean though, and it gives us back FP instead of HP, which I think we may go ahead and equip on. But here it is, the black knife print. And looking at the picture, right, it reminds me of like the ciphers and stuff when you get like the, you know, you start looking at these whetstones and stuff right here. See how they've got that script and ciphers on there, cipher engraved. It looks the same thing to me, right? So on the Night of Black Knives, someone stole a fragment of death from Malekith, the Black Blade, and imbued its power into the assassin's daggers. This mark is evidence of the ritual and hides the truth of the conspiracy. So some whole big conspiracy with it, and this is hiding the truth of it. There's something more to know about it. And I mean, the way it kind of looks, I mean, again, ciphers, kind of reminds me of like Starlight Shards with the sparkly things, and it just kind of reminds me of like Frost as well. And I think if we look, like, let's see here, where's it at? Yeah, because see, it looks kind of the same thing right here, right? So it's got that kind of misty, speckled look. So is there a tie-in with like some of that? Because it doesn't have to be with the Eternal City, but at the same time, you know, they do look similar, right? And then I don't think we've heard about Malekith the Black Blade yet. I want to say this is our first time hearing about him. Oh, there's a crab. Of course. And now the skeleton wants to get up. Alright, but look at him. Look how he's got like a wide eye. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Oh, I didn't want to break my holy spell. Look how he's missing a big old chunk out of his side. See that? Gnarly. Now we get another crab that actually looks different, like its environment. I felt a little cheated when those ones in that poison swamp were all just still like magic sleep ones. That didn't feel right. Made me upset a little bit. I really thought I could finish it off there. I was being super greedy and stupid. But cool. Alright, we got the door open, but we do need to go back and get our runes. Lots of grave glove work down here. Wonder what that item is. Guaranteed it's an ambush, yeah. You knew it. Why would there be just like some lone item hanging out there? Look how quickly it went down that time. Wow. Narc, of course. Alright, let's see what the boss is and this one. Kind of curious. Ooh, one of those cemetery shades. There's skeletons, which shouldn't be a problem for us, especially since we're using that sacred blade stuff, except we're getting absolutely rocked by the blood loss. Oh, good lord. Stop for 2 goddamn seconds. Okay, that's down. No, thank you. Okay. Okay, now we're good. Oh, look at you, you poor baby. 3 hits and he's gone. Cemetery Shade. Oh, Twin Sage Sorcerers. Alright. That's a different one, right? We got the regular one, which didn't tell us nothing. There's our Death Root. Let's see here. Twin Sage, Twin Sage. There you are. Spirit of Rhea Lucaria, sorcerer wearing a stone crown. Those who study as Twin Sage Conspectus are the Academy's elite, capable of mastering the Glintstone, Comet Shard, and Crystal Burst sorceries. Alright. Yeah, it kind of lines up with what we knew already, that they are pretty skilled. Now we got a few things to do. We can go to the round table. We're going to talk to Rogier. We're going to level up. And then we need to go talk to Gurranq as well, because we have like 2 Death Root to turn in, I believe. Alright, Rogier. What you got to say, dude?
Always good to see you safe. So, what do you need?
Give the black Knifeprint.
This is a black Knifeprint.
Yeah, man, for you.
I can scarcely believe you managed to get your hands on this.
Yeah.
You recall our conversation about the Night of the Black Knives, yes? They say the assassins who carried out the deed were scions of the Eternal City. A group entirely of women, arrayed in armor of silver under cloaks which fooled the eye. The knives they wielded, though, were imparted with the power of the Rune of Death through sinister rite. Please, I beg of you, lend me the Knifeprint for a time. I'd love nothing more than to tease out its secrets. Though only a fragment, a very specific ritual had to be performed to impart the power of the Rune of Death. Traces of the one who performed the rite are sure to remain in the imprint. Half my body has been suffused with death. I'm certain it will help me see.
There is no choice. We just have to hand it over. Nothing new. Yeah, alright. So the assassins were scions of the Eternal City, and all of them were women. So they're like descendants, because it's kind of what scion means. Descendants of the Eternal City, which, I mean, kind of ties in with what we were looking at. And then cloaks that fooled the eye. And see how it was like kind of a silvery, see-through kind of weird cloak? Like, it all just kind of lines up with what we've been seeing. Alright, now while Rogier is solving that and figuring out, like, who did the sinister rite, we're going to go talk to Gurranq and see what's going on there. Right? Because we have... How many do we have? Oh, just one. Alright, but we got one we can give to him. Okay. Yeah, we'll do. Beast's Roar. Oh, cool. I was gonna look behind him. There's nothing back here, is there? No, not really. Feed you more death. So what is the tie-in with beasts and death, right? Because, like, we're in this bestial sanctum. There's death. Ties in with the demigods, the soulless and stuff. Maybe this eclipse. And then, like, him, the beast clergyman, like... And the Golden Order is really interested in, like, you know, taking out death as well. So, you know, there's a lot of... I mean, I guess death is a big deal. So it makes sense that there would be a lot of groups that are interested in it. Bestial Roar, or Beast's Roar. Keen Affinity unleashes a beastly roar, rending the air as a forward-traveling projectile. Oh, well, that's not really that exciting. Oh, what's that sound? Oh, he's got a different pose. Alright, he's hostile. We're gonna go ahead and buff this up now. And then, I'll try not to get murdered. Oh, okay, he's a clergyman. Makes sense, he's kind of doing some kind of spells. Oh. Yeah. Alright, he's got like a little dagger that he is doing things. He's throwing a rock. There's that stone throw. Like, these are spells that he's been giving us. And he's using them himself. Uh-oh. Oh. Bummer. Owie. Stop it. Stop. He's so aggressive. Oh, Lord. Let me heal. Throwing a big old boulder. Ow. Jesus. Forgot how much he friggin' hurts, dude. We're just gonna kind of safely poke from behind the shield. Alright, we did bleed. Bleed did it for us. What's up, dude?
Put it away. I won't forget. Again, my appetite. My seat, so please. Enough.
He won't forget again. His appetite, his sin. So what was his sin? So is the appetite his sin?
Hello. I was hoping to see you.
Oh, I didn't mean to skip that. He finished it. He gave it back to us, so.
Now I have a fairly good idea who performed the rite upon the blade. The person who orchestrated the Night of the Black Knives. Lunar Princess Rani. One of the children born to King Consort Radigan and his first wife, Renala. Demigod and sister to General Radahn and Praetor Rykard.
Oh.
Hers was the name I discovered in the imprint. Truly, you have my thanks. But if I might be so bold, I would like to ask something more of you.
Okay.
If Rani truly is the one who plotted that fateful night, then she should bear the curse mark of destined death somewhere upon her flesh. I would like you to procure it for me. And then all will be laid bare. I will have the answers I have sought for so long.
Okay. Right. Alright. He just dropped a whole bunch of things on us, right? So, the perpetrator of the night was the Lunar Princess Rani, daughter of Radigan and Renala. And she is one of multiple children of that marriage, right? General Radahn and Praetor Rykard, which before it hadn't said anything that they were siblings. It was just like, these are the demigods, right? But they're all three children of Renala and Radigan. Now, he's saying that she perpetrated it. And if she was the one who did it, there should be a mark on her for the curse mark. Now, to me, it sounds like, all right, we need to find her body then. Because Godwyn has a mark on him, right? Or I think, because he was murdered. But he's dead. Or at least buried or something, right? So it should be the same thing with her, except we did hear her voice when we were fighting Renala on, the transition to phase 2. It was like, by my name is Rani the Witch, no one will disturb Mother's slumber. So unless it was like a pre-recorded message, it sort of sounds like she's alive, which is a little strange. So, we'll see where she's at.
I have some idea of Rani's potential whereabouts. There's a manor to the north of the Academy of Rhea Lucaria. It is the familial home of the Carian royals, from whom Rani descends. There's been talk of the old royals' vassals gathering there in recent years. Rani's whereabouts since the shattering are a well-kept secret. She hasn't been seen even once, but I suspect she might have returned to the manor in which she was born.
Okay. Now, why do you want the curse mark?
I'm afraid there's something I must tell you. Do you know of those who live in death? The very notion of life in death defies the Golden Order. By Dee's account, these defiled fiends must be expunged. But truth be told, I seek the curse mark to save them. You may find this peculiar, but I discovered something in my examination of the Night of the Black Knives. These souls have committed no offense. They have every right to life, only they happen to touch upon a flaw in the Order.
Okay, so, alright. So he wants it to help those who live in death, because as he's saying, they haven't actually done anything wrong, right? They are just are, right? And simply by virtue of what they are, that's why the Golden Order wants some stuff now. That's why Dee wants to get rid of them. But it's not their fault that they happen to touch upon some flaw in the Order. But what is the Order? Is it the Golden Order? Is it the Order of the Elden Ring, right? Order of the Erd Tree? And what flaw did they touch on? And a lot of this death, those who live in death, it seems to stem from when the Rune of Death was stolen, this missing thing, that should have been a part of it. So maybe, it's not their fault because somebody else started conspiring and then created a flaw in the whole order. And because of that, some of these people, things, whatever, touched, like found out about it, touched upon it, whatever, however it actually works. And because of that, they're like cursed, but they have this life now. Yeah, about D.
Yes, indeed. If D knew what drives me now, he would surely boil over with rage. Or perhaps he would even feel some pity. But no need to fret. None of that will come to pass. I
Okay.
can tell a good lie when I need to.
All right. Anything else about Rani's?
Lunar Princess Rani truly is the one who plotted that fateful night. Then she should bear the curse. Would you be willing to? She may have returned the royal.
Yep. All right. I wonder if D has anything to say, because he did help us fight the assassin, which is interesting, right? Because he did help us fight that assassin. Why was he even there, right? He was fighting those who live in death. That would make sense, but he didn't help us to fight in the actual spot where there was the boss and Deathroot. He fought against the Black Knife assassin, which is what Rogier's ultimate goal was, because that's where the Knifeprint was. So I do kind of think he has some sympathy towards Rogier's goal.
Hello there.
No, he doesn't have anything to say. Well, there's one more person we can talk to, and that would be Fia, because we haven't talked to her since, our last conversation, getting that little tidbit where she's like, "Dear Rogier loves to speak when to bed." About Rogier.
I heard that you lent a hand to dear Rogier. He seemed positively elated. He must be possessed of great mental fortitude. It anchors his will and sustains him. Despite his grievous wounds, you truly are a champion. To dear Rogier, and myself too.
Sacrificial twig.
Then good day to you, my dear.
Now, I mean, like I've mentioned before, like, there are these recurring titles for people. It's like, a champion, hero, right? And like, it feels like when she says it there that like that we truly are a champion, like champion to her and to Rogier. Like it feels like there's some real weight to it. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Who knows? But that'll be it. That'll be where this video will end. We've gotten some clues. We found out some more about the Night of Black Knives and the conspiracy. And we're going to help and follow along with what Rogier would like. And he says there's a manor in the northern part of Rea Lucaria. And of course, if we look here, there is a large structure and just buildings and stuff there. So we are going to have to check that out. So that might not be the next video. There might be a little segment we have to knock out right before then. But if not, we'll see. But thanks for checking it out. Hope you guys kind of enjoyed it, and all that stuff, right? I do really appreciate it. I do. But until the next one, take care.